Hello and welcome back to the channel. We have a big update today. So I'm probably going to sit down and talk about this, get you all set up, and then we'll have a little chat about why it's such a great day and the big news that we've got. Today is a big day. I got to take down this outside our house because the planning permission on our annex, which we run as an Airbnb, has finally been approved. So, very happy because we're not going to lose our business. A business that is a big part of my income here and very important to me and very successful. It's not going to be closed down. So you're probably wondering, backstory. Let me go through it. Back in January, we got a letter from the council saying the annex that we have that's attached to our house was breaching the original planning permissions that were put in place when it was built in 2016. So when we bought this house 2 years ago, we weren't aware that the planning permission for the annex, which was an extension built in 2016, as I said, had in there that it shouldn't be used as a sort of holiday rental. Now, the previous owners had started using it that way to make some additional income, but we weren't aware that when we bought the house that planning permission sort of information was there and that we were technically in breach of that. Our solicitors should have picked up on that, but nothing we can do about that really now. The letter from the council said we've been made aware of this, which means that someone had gone out of their way to make the council aware because it had been used as a holiday let for three or so years before us. So, it had been running for quite some time. What we needed to do was do a change of use planning application. So we got someone to help us with this just because never done anything like this before, didn't really know what we were doing, needed some help. We created a whole planning permission. We had to have drawings done, all sorts of things. It was a big saga. These forms are big if you know about it. So submitted it, done. Cost us $3,000 to do that. Notice goes out on the front of the house to let people know around the area. At this point, we still don't know who has reported us, who has done this, because the person we had to help us do the application, she used to work in this department in the council, and she said because it's such a minor offence, they usually wouldn't pick up on it. It would be right at the bottom of their list, even if they were aware. So whoever had gone to the council had gone to them repeatedly or knows someone in the council. Something like that. So they had really going for us, essentially. So we put the planning notice up. That's done. Literally a day later, we get an objection. Reading that objection, it is our neighbour behind us. This neighbour was just complete surprise because last year they came over to introduce themselves, say hello, say how lovely the annex was, say, just neighbourly, like, nice to meet you kind of thing. They came over to ask if family could come and use our annex and what platform would be best to book it on. So their family came and stayed. They used booking.com. They came and stayed. They had a great time. They left a great review. So these neighbours are objecting because they feel that the annex is too successful. There are too many people coming and going from the property at all times. It invades their privacy. Now, as you come down to the entrance, their house is the other side. There's a good bit of distance between us. They took down a whole load of trees and shrubs and all sorts of things last year and opened up the whole space. So that invasion of privacy was on them. They took away those hedges. They took away their privacy. We didn't do anything. But they've said in the objection, it's quite long, that there are very noisy guests, there's people partying late into the night. That has never happened. We had one guest that was playing music, I think at like 9:30, 10, and I messaged them and said, we have strict quiet hours here. Could you please turn it off? They turned it off immediately. The only other thing guests do is that we have a nice sort of outdoor area just there where they can sit. They might sit out in there in the evening enjoying a glass of wine and the view. They're entitled to do that. you know, if we were living in this space, we would use that area. Are you saying that we're invading your privacy by using our decking area? We're entitled to do that. But that was one of their other reasons, which is just not true. They said in the objection that it's a substantial outside entertainment area. I'll show you a picture of what it looks like. That's not substantial. And then one of the other things they objected to was the fact that there were builders coming and going at all the time. Yes, we get guests that are here for work. Those guests are respectful. The builders are very respectful. They might like to have a cigarette out on the deck. They're entitled to do that. It would be like us smoking out there. I mean, I don't like smoking, but they're allowed to do that. They're very quiet when they're coming and going. No problem whatsoever there. Now, one other thing that I can't really go into details about, but something they put in the objection is something that some guests stayed here. I can't really go into details about it, but the only reason they could put that into the objection is if they were listening in to guests, which is completely unacceptable. And I raised this as that's a privacy issue from our side. They're clearly listening over the fence to what guests are saying. That's just not acceptable. Yeah, the objections almost work both ways here. And they just had no grounds to stand on. So one of the things they had put in their objection was that after it was set up, the previous owners of the Annex, obviously were getting lots of bookings because it's beautiful space, beautiful Annex space, that they were obviously getting quite successful, quite a lot of people coming, not quite a lot of people, but you know, it was definitely more people than before, and they didn't like it, so they asked the previous owners, could you reduce your number of bookings because we don't like it? And the previous owners were like, yeah, that's fine, because obviously they probably had a good friendship with them, which I just think is a really odd thing to ask and something I would never do. But that was one of the other things, is that they didn't like how successful it was. There were people coming and going and things like that. They also said that it was a 3-bedroom annex, not a 2-bedroom, which is not true. It's a 2-bedroom, which means there is a maximum of 4 people at one time in this place. So they were making out there's hundreds of people coming and going. That's not true. You can only fit 2 cars on our drive for our annex. You can have a maximum of 4 guests. That's the same a number of people that would be living in the house anyway. So we're not going over the number of people that are occupying the house. And then, like I said at the beginning, one of the biggest things is that they suggested to the previous owners that they set it up as an Airbnb to make some additional income. So they're objecting to it, even though they have used the space, and they even suggested opening it. But that was very long-winded. But anyway, great news today. It has been approved by the council. The council have said that it clearly demonstrates the need for holiday let in the area. The case officer working for it even said it was great to see how well we're performing. We're outperforming anyone else in the area when they're really struggling. So there was no way they were going to not approve it, because it's clearly driving a lot of business to the area, bringing in a lot of tourism, which is what they need. So yeah, it has been, this started in January, it's now May. It's been a long time coming, and I am so relieved. I will sleep a little bit better tonight. Probably have a glass of Prosecco this weekend to celebrate, but it's great news for us. Really, really happy. But slightly different, more chatty video. I've been talking for like 10 minutes. Hope all of that made sense. But yeah, big day for us. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Please like and subscribe for more pieces. And I promise the next one will be less me chatting and more about cleaning, setting up an Airbnb and things like that. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.